It started with a call that came in just before sunrise on a cold February morning. The dispatcher's log would later show it as 5:43 a.m., possible DOA, residential address. Caller reports no signs of forced entry. The address was 312 Parkhurst Lane, an older apartment building in the quiet part of Riverton, Illinois. The caller was Daniel Price, the building's superintendent. His voice on the 911 tape wasn't frantic, just uneasy. He said he'd gone to check on a tenant after several complaints about a strong odor in the hallway. The tenant's name was Leonard Hale. Leonard was 43, single, quiet. Worked from home. Never late on rent. Never caused trouble. The kind of tenant landlords brag about. When police arrived, the hallway already carried that unmistakable smell, decay. Officers knew it immediately. The door was locked from the inside. The windows, too. No forced entry, no tampering, no damage. The superintendent handed over the spare key, untouched since Leonard had moved in 2 years earlier. When they opened the door, a heavy, stale air rolled out. The apartment was silent. Leonard lay face up on the living room floor. Barefoot. A t-shirt and sweatpants. Blood around his mouth. His eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. The coroner would later say he'd been dead for at least 3 days. But the strangest part wasn't how he died. It was how he could have died. Because everything in that apartment was sealed tight. No open doors. No signs of struggle. No footprints but his own. Detective Karen Boyd, one of the first on the scene, would later describe it as like he just died alone in a sealed box. The apartment looked ordinary. Remote on the couch. A mug half full of coffee. Laptop open on a news site. The microwave clock blinked 12 o'clock, probably a brief power outage. The only odd detail was a faint smell of burned plastic near the desk. The autopsy made things even stranger. Leonard had no wounds, no poison, no drugs or alcohol, and no sign of disease. His heart had simply stopped. Official cause of death, cardiac arrest. But no medical reason for it. Detective Boyd kept digging. Leonard wasn't on medication. His medical record was clean. His apartment showed no signs of anyone else being there, and the chain lock on the inside proved he hadn't let anyone in. Around the station, people started calling it the locked room mystery. When investigators checked his laptop, they found something curious: Leonard's browser history. In the week before his death, he'd searched for lucid dreaming, sleep paralysis, and shadow visitors. He'd even posted on an anonymous forum, describing episodes where he woke up unable to move, seeing dark figures near his bed. In one post, he said he'd started recording himself sleeping with his phone. Police recovered the phone, dead but intact. They pulled the videos. The final clip was timestamped 3 nights before his death. In the footage, Leonard lay still in bed. Around 2:47 a.m., his breathing sped up. His eyes opened, but his body didn't move. For almost 2 minutes, nothing. Then a shadow drifted across the wall behind him. He began gasping, silently, until his chest went still. No one entered or left the frame. Analysts called it artifacting, a glitch in night mode, maybe a shifting shadow. But Detective Boyd couldn't shake it. Leonard's eyes seemed to follow something. And his pulse monitor on the nightstand spiked seconds before his heart stopped. Neighbors reported he'd become paranoid before he died, shouting, talking to someone when he was alone. One woman said she'd heard another voice, low, distorted, impossible to place. But the building's security footage showed no one visiting him. Not once. A rookie officer, Jenkins, later claimed his camera glitched whenever he photographed the corner near the desk, the source of that burnt smell. He said the photos blurred, and one image showed what looked like the faint outline of a person, half in shadow. He deleted it the same day. 8 weeks later, the investigation closed. Cause of death: cardiac arrest of undetermined origin. No suspects. No evidence of foul play. But the story didn't end there. Months later, new tenants moved in, a young couple, Sarah and Tim. They'd heard the rumors but didn't believe in ghosts. Rent was cheap, and the building was quiet. For the first week, everything was fine. Then Sarah started waking up at night, unable to move, feeling watched. She heard someone whisper her name. Tim brushed it off until one night, he heard it too. A man's voice, low and close to his ear. They broke the lease 2 days later. When Detective Boyd heard about it, she went back to 312 Parkhurst alone. The apartment was empty. Still smelled faintly of dust and paint. She stood there, imagining Leonard in that same room, terrified, unseen, and unheard. Before she left, something caught her eye under the desk, a small piece of blackened plastic, fused into the carpet. She bagged it and sent it to the lab. It turned out to be the remains of a motion-activated sensor, the kind used in smart home systems. But Leonard didn't own one. The data chip inside was melted from the inside out. No fire damage around it. No electrical fault to explain why. Boyd never mentioned the results to anyone else. Sometimes, she still wakes up at 3 a.m., thinking about that room. About how a man could die inside a locked apartment, with no cause, no intruder, and no explanation. Maybe it was stress. Maybe coincidence. Maybe something we don't understand. Or maybe, whatever was in that room never left. And somewhere in Riverton, there's still a locked door, with something waiting quietly on the other side.